Yo, what's the business? It's your local neighborhood super rig off in this thing. Hater Supreme here with my boy Briss. What's poppin', bro?
What's good, bro? You know, when you wake up alive, it's always a good day.
Unless you're fraudulent. You're waking up as a fraud. And that's gotta suck to wake up as that every day. Or academics. Let's get into this video. Let's get into this video. This is by Fantastic Hip Hop. I think we done reacted to one of these videos before. I think they have went in a little more in depth. And let's see. This is titled How Drake Just Started Round 2 with Kendrick Lamar. And let's get into it.
Of his 100 gigs collection and then proceeded to add even. Now, despite Drake having a busy weekend where he dropped off 3 new tracks as part of his 100 gigs collection and then proceeded to add even more.
Oh, speaking of that, have you heard them 3 trash ass songs?
I just heard a snippet. I haven't heard the whole thing yet.
Did you hear No Face?
No, I just heard a snippet of it.
All right. Just since you can actually tolerate Fraudry's voice, I wanted to get your opinion about it. I should have been like, yo, check these out first. But I'm
gonna check them out tonight then after this one. Yeah, I remember one of the ones that snippets I listened to, the beat was fire.
Yeah, but the other two I'm talking about, as soon as he opened his Fraudrick mouth, I couldn't finish. I almost threw up. Let's continue.
More footage of him creating some of his most iconic albums to the 100 Gigs website to make people remember the good old days when he was actually beloved by the near entirety of the hip-hop world. As the videos of Drake had nowhere near the same buzz that the first set of Lost Media did, and the only part of Drake's 3 new songs that really gained any sort of traction were his lyrics that were vaguely alluding to spinning things back on Kendrick Lamar after months of their beef seemingly being over. It seemed like Drake had officially reached a rock bottom in terms of his popularity as an artist and brand, because we have never seen people just care less about what he was doing. But now, as everyone was walking away from all this, Drake has shifted the spotlight back on him and has now gotten the most attention he pretty much has this entire summer after the conclusion of the Kendrick beef, as on his burner Instagram account Plot Twist that has been set up to try and make him look like he has never been better following the Kendrick beef, and that has been alluding to something much greater that will be coming.
Copycatting Kendrick, trying to be all mysterious, and you follow my rabbit hole. Ooh, look at me. Not only am I a fraud in public, I'm a fraud in secret too. Let's continue.
After nonstop spam of some of the most annoying and most laughable attempts at trying to look deep for weeks, Drake has finally made a successful move with this account that has grabbed people's attention, as by posting a video of former Detroit Pistons basketball player Rasheed Wallace, where he said, "Y'all put it on the front page, back page, middle of the page. We will win game 2. Drake has hinted to the fact that he is going to be dropping more diss tracks aimed at Kendrick very soon. And now to add context to this clip, as Wallace said this after the Pistons lost Game 1 in the second round of the 2004 NBA playoffs against the Indiana Pacers, and the Pistons of course went on to defeat the 1-seeded Pacers 4-2 in the series, and then went on to be one of the most star-studded teams of all time in the finals with the LA Lakers in just 5 games. There is a lot loaded into this Drake Instagram story, and it is revealing to us more about what is up his sleeve than any of his features or new songs have. And considering the state of hip-hop right now, as using Rasheed Wallace, the Pistons, and this clip as a mouthpiece for him, Drake is labeling himself as the underdog right now, as this team of course went on to pull off one of the greatest upsets in all of sports this century, as they defeated a Lakers team with Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and multiple other Hall of Famers. And Drake isn't just doing this to show the road that may be ahead of him and the odds that are against him. Although even looking at this logic, I will note that months ago all of the major players in hip-hop media had Drake as the clear favorite in this beef, despite what listeners thought.
He really thought he was Michael Jackson with this. You remember when History came out? This dude really think he MJ.
Bro, I actually forgot about this.
But in the greater sense, by picking this clip in this moment, and knowing that the Lakers and Kobe Bryant were defeated, which are of course the team that represents where Kendrick is from, and Kobe is a guy who Kendrick has been compared to time and time again, Drake is trying to line up these 2 storylines and spread fear by doing this. And now while Drake is blowing up the rap world once again by letting everyone know that he is not done with releasing music towards Kendrick, although again it is important to note that he did say he was on the Hard Part 6 initially, while everyone is speculating on what this can mean for Drake and the entirety of the rap game, we have already gotten rumblings from Kendrick Lamar's team about their reaction to this, and the sneak disses Drake threw out on a track like No Face, as despite Drake hyping this moment up, and then people pushing Kendrick to just stomp.
I just realized in that video he had the nail polish on, he literally got into a sprinkled, sparkly race car. and drove off. Look at this.
This wow.
And then
this is a sparkle car, bro. This ain't even a sparkle paint. It
is whimsical.
This is a legit fairy car. What the hell? Let's continue. He whiz. And what's sad is he got 35-year-old fans that looked at the car. Can't wait till I get my car like this.
Drake hyping this moment up, and then people pushing Kendrick to just stomp on Drake again before he can even get out of his own way and seemingly get to this moment that he is hyping up as game 2. A friend of Kendrick, Eurolux, said that after fans were hyping up that if Drake wants this matchup, which as Kendrick alluded to on Not Like Us, that he indeed does have more tracks in stock and will be ready to stomp him. Euro said about this entire situation in Kendrick's next move. In response to what Drake said, "Nah, we leaving the Canadian alone. Everybody just working at this moment, so just stay tuned." And now with this, well, based on everything in the Kendrick camp and comments like these, it does seem somewhat vague about what their plans actually are, as the camp is still alluding to the fact that something is coming very soon. What is clear from this is that Team Kendrick is not going to be running out because of a few sneak disses or an IG story, and get ready for another chapter of all-out lyrical dueling, which
and that's what's crazy. Drake really think like what he doing is like, these sneak disses that is so trash. On top of that, is really on some like Kendrick over there like, oh my gosh, he's talking about me, guys, let's drop it. No, Kendrick, hold back. Like Kendrick over there like, dude, this dude is a pedo. That's his first probably primary thought process. Then he was like, yeah, this dude trash on top of it.
It's wild that I thought that Drake understood that he lost.
I thought that
like, I don't. What'd you say? Because I don't know people who think that Drake won. I just be blown away by it. Like they can't be serious. That was like the most convincing L I ever seen anybody take in a rap beat.
It's an epidemic of fentanyl going around, and that's really, I'm thinking that's like the top #1 reason. But we can't forget that Fraudry is under a slavery contract where he has to release something. He can't just sit and take a break and not be generating new music. And I'm gonna be honest, I really feel like his company is putting a battery in his back. They know he gonna get lacerated and eviscerated, but it's more they money back and then more profits. And who knows? Me and Charles Carworth waiting for the pizza party. Maybe we get an alert one day and it be like another Whitney Houston situation, Michael Jackson Prince situation, another superstar going too soon. Pizza for everybody. Let's continue.
On one hand, at this moment they shouldn't, because Kendrick has absolutely nothing to prove. And also, aside from what Kendrick has directly done, Drake has been doing any sort of job that they needed to finish for them, by just making himself look worse and worse with every single thing he has done this summer. So now, at this point, what Kendrick is doing just by default is letting Drake control the tempo, because based on his current track record, it somehow gives them better odds of winning, as opposed to even if they decided to do anything, because with all of this motion from Drake, which despite cryptically teasing that he isn't done with Kendrick and that a round 2 was coming, as his reputation has plummeted so low.
What do you mean he ain't done with Kendrick? What? That's like getting your ass whooped and then the dude that whooped your ass walking away and you dragging on his leg like this, like, I'm done with you. Where are you going? Like, this is what Fraudry is doing right now. This is insane.
Low, as we all know, from not just watching the quality of his music reach an all-time low, but from also seeing one of the most powerful brands in all of music's chart potential and streaming numbers decrease exponentially as well. If he really is serious about trying to start a round 2 and wants to release more music and diss tracks aimed at Kendrick is going to be calling his bluff and giving him the lane to do this. But now, as the idea of a round 2 is gaining more and more steam because Drake is getting louder and louder about it, as we are somewhat entering uncharted territory for Drake, as he is going to be calling out Kendrick Lamar again in full force. You have to sit here and question if Drake realizes the full risk of doubling down on a beef that went just about as bad as it could have for him. Because first off, by doing this, Drake is going to split his brand fully away from being the one-of-a-kind hitmaker and gigantic musical force that can pump out massive moments at such a quick rate like few others ever have been able to, and he is going to be shifting it into becoming the guy who can't get over the fact that he lost to another artist, which in of itself is only going to make him seem bitter and insecure about his own self just because of how vocal he is about doing this, which then in turn, and this is why I really don't think that Drake is thinking all this through, will only help Kendrick's agendas against him become stronger. Because no matter how Drake responds, he will indirectly build on what Kendrick left off on, which will then only make general audiences remember Drake for all of his weird actions, which made what was thrown out against him stick in the first place even more. And now when you look at all this from this angle, it really seems like something so reckless for the future and longevity of Drake's career and for the dignity of his legacy that it almost reminds you of the foolishness that forever ruined somebody like Ja Rule's reputation following when 50 Cent humiliated him. And now because of all of this, with the stakes never—
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I'm talking about with the whole 50 and Ja Rule thing, it was crazy. Like 1 week, I was literally with a girl and we looking at each other talking about who cares, you care, baby, I'm not always there. And then a week later, Wankster came out and I'm like, turn that shit. Why are you playing that in this vehicle? We don't listen to Ja around here. He's Wankster.
I remember because I didn't really know what Wankster really meant. I had an idea using the context clues, but then 50 was on 106 in Park back then. I think AJ and Free was still in that mud back then. And they was like, so tell us, what does Wankster really mean? Who are you talking about there? He was, I'm talking about Ja Rule. I was like, oh, like, I just respected the candor. I'm like, wow. Like, because Ja Rule was on top back then. Like, what Drake is now, that's technically the kind of stuff that Ja Rule was on back then. And he just came out of nowhere. It was like, yeah, I'm talking about Ja Rule. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And then the video, literally his son on the porch playing with a doll that looked just like Ja Rule. He was like, what you playing with? He was like, I'm playing with Ja Rule. That's a Wankster. Get that out of here. Threw it in the trash. Shout out to, I was mad at 50. I was just telling Briss earlier, I was mad at 50 for taking them pictures, but 50 follows those 58 laws of power and stuff. He used, or whatever, how many ever laws it is. He using Fraudry for some fraud-tastic stuff. I'm like,
because he actually got the 40. It was the 48 laws of power that he watched, but he got the 50th law where he actually came in, and they was talking about how the fact that he's so fearless. That book was pretty good too.
The 50th law is make 8,000 songs against one dude in about 2 weeks, and dismantle his whole career. Let's continue.
Ever being higher for Drake. What the tallest order out of this round 2 will be is that because of the hole he has dug himself in, he needs to now accomplish more than just a regular all-time great diss track ever does. Because in order to shift the narratives that have been spun onto him away and make Kendrick look awful, atop of making a record that has all of the prerequisites for a diss track in terms of its top-tier lyricism, it's also gonna have to respond now to Not Like Us, which will then also require it to have an infectious instrumental that will allow for mass consumption and repeat listens. And now on top of all of this and making this equation all the more harder, Drake is gonna have to now somehow dig up dirt and reveal information about Kendrick that is about as lethal and head-turning as what Pusha T told us about him on the story of Adidon. And now with this all being the bar that is required for Drake not just to make a great song, but for him not to humiliate himself by coming back around for a round 2, as he is gonna have to make a hit song that is loaded with information that can actually damage the person he is targeting more than just lies could or by calling him short, just to even get any sort of legitimate respect or momentum.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's just now, with him just saying, calling him short, that's really what he came to this battle with. He said this dude got size 7 shoes on, and that he's short, and next thing you know, whole world calling him a pedophile. Like,
talk about bringing a water gun to a gunfight. What's less impactful than that? This dude brought nothing to a gunfight.
He's short. Get out of here. Let's continue.
Back. Drake has a near impossible task to accomplish, and as we have already seen his performance in round 1 of the beef, it's hard to believe that this time around things would be any different, but as Drake has had months to move around and think about new angles to approach Kendrick with, despite everything else we have seen from him, which has shown that he has never been worse as an artist and a rapper. Maybe he does have something in store that can actually—
I mean, he has been worse. It's called his entire career.
help him from not being the biggest failure in music, but it does not seem likely. Am I Drake doing all this? All this seems like a way for him that may give him attention and excitement that has been missing from his name with every single thing he has done during this time following the beef. Overall, it is only going to burn out the rest of his career faster than ever, and if all of this goes even half as wrong as the first round of this beef went with Kendrick, I know it sounds crazy to say with the train wreck we have already seen, but Drake would really be pushing his career into a corner that would not just make him seem like one of the biggest sore losers there has ever been, but it will ruin not just the present, but the past and future of his career, as by never being able to escape this one moment, he is going to recontextualize his entire image in the cultural zeitgeist, and as a result is going to stain his image within a light that only somebody like Ja Rule could ever even come close to. And the fact that this is the conversation we are having already says enough about where this is all headed. So now with all this said, let me know, what do you think of Drake getting ready for round 2 with Kendrick, and how do you think this is all gonna go? I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you want to see how Drake's new track, No Face, addressed Kendrick Lamar and is teasing what may come in this upcoming diss track, check out the suggested video.
Oh my gosh, man, it's crazy.
Now, despite
and you said you didn't hear the No Face, huh? We'll go through the lyrics. We're gonna go to Genius.
Without even hearing the record all the way through, like I said, I heard the snippet.
Yeah,
I definitely would not recommend Drake do any of this. Like, I think he should just chill, act like it didn't happen, and just move on with life. Cause you out here trying to like hit up Kung Fu Kenny like that, your career gonna be over.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Let us get into the chat real quick and see what the people have to say about this. Let's see. Hold on. Eating the crust is a must. Exactly. You ain't gonna waste mama. Not in this house. People who don't eat the crust, to me, you had to grow up in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air house. You was balling out of control if you ain't eating the crust. Somebody in the comments talk about if I wanted breadsticks, I would have ordered some. Get the hell out of here with that trash. Tiffany Thurman says, K-Dot don't need to respond to the boy no further. He did what he was set out to do. No. Okay. I'm 50% on that. I feel like he did. However, Fraudry still dropping music. I needed to be Ja Rule status where he don't no more music drop. UMG be like, look, his whole catalog worthless. I need soccer moms to take they Bluetooth out their car, throw it on the ground if he come on. I need him to be completely vanquished.
And he dropping music with sneak disses in them. That's the wild part about it. Like,
that's the wild. You want to know something? He remind me. Have you ever seen somebody on the playground that just stayed talking cash money and done got whooped before? They still just keep talking cash money for whatever I do, and you be like, what? Why do you? But eventually, people just kind of just ignore them after a while. You know what I'm saying?
Eventually, you ever seen that? You ever seen that Kimbo Slice video? Remember when he first came out? He was fighting that dude in the backyard, and the dude eyeball came out, and you was like, "Bro, it's definitely time to quit, my guy." This is where we at right now with the Drake and Kendrick beef. Like, Drake eyeball is hanging out. People may not even know who Kimbo. Nah, that thing was Kimbo Slice either.
Kimbo Slice. That video was like 2004. That was like the beginning of 2006 or something. That was the beginning of YouTube. Yo, if it's any Curb Your Enthusiasm or Seinfeld fans out there, it was an episode where George went smooth off on his boss. I'm talking about smooth off, cussed him out in front of the whole office. Got back home, realized rent was due in 2 weeks. He had messed up completely. And Kramer told him, how about you just go back in and work Monday? He was like, what? He was like pretend like it didn't happen. That's what I thought Fraudry was doing. Until the sneak disses started coming in. I was like, bro, he might have just survived. But I think he's trying to play this game with Kendrick or whatever. And I don't think it's going to end well for him. Oh, buddy in this video completely said, hey, be careful, bro. You might just blow up your whole spot, broski. Whole spot, man. Yeah, dude, it's crazy.